funny, Rich.
He was funny. He always looked like he was sucking on a bad lemon. Didn't he?
He did. He was.
Oh, Len. Oh, God, he was funny on Hollywood Squares. So I can remember doing that show and many nights damn near falling out of the square. I had to hang onto the desk. I mean, he was so quick with those one-liners,
Wasn't it?
Oh, my God.
Was that Peter Marshall?
Peter Marshall would host the
Peter
show.
Marshall, and those. Oh my God! Every time he went to Paul, you had to hang on to the desk because, Paul, can you get an elephant drunk? Oh, sure, but you'll never get it up to your apartment.
Now, I don't know if this is true or not, and maybe Rich can shed some light on this, but I think George Burns was originally set as the host for Hollywood Squares, not Peter Marshall. And if that was the case, Rich, how would that sound with George Burns asking the question of Paul Lynde?
I don't think it would be a good idea. It'd take me 20 minutes to ask a question.
That's incredible. Incredible.
That's great.
I don't think George ever did that show, did he?
I
don't remember him ever on that show. I guess he did. I don't know. Everybody did Hollywood Squares. My gosh, I used to meet more celebrities and movie stars and everything from doing Hollywood Squares. They got some big names on that show.
Oh, big time.
Still goes on, too. Now, what about the show Copycats that you had? Tell us about it. That was a huge show I remember on TV.
That was a great show.
That was part of
that was shot in England back in the 70s, and we had all impersonators on, like Frank Gorshin and George Kirby and
I remember that.
Marilyn Michaels and a lot of wonderful people. And I was just glad to be part of it. I was fairly new at that time, but we did a whole season, I think, of Copycats, and I wish they would bring it out on cassette.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
People would buy it because it was a good series, and we had lavish sets and great writers, and I have a number of them, and people still comment on them.
What was it like, Rich Little, on the set, being part of that? I mean, you had, like, as you mentioned, Marilyn Michaels and George Kirby and Frank Gorshin. Was there, like, did you guys drive each other crazy doing impressions and trying to surprise each other? Was it a lot of fun?
Well, it was interesting. We'd sit around a desk on Monday, and they would decide who was going to do what impressions, and there would be a little bit of friction, like, wait a minute. I want to do James Mason. And somebody else would say, no, I do a better James Mason. And then somebody else would say, who cares about James Mason? I want to do Kirk Douglas. No, I want to do Kirk Douglas.
That's pretty funny.
So it was interesting because sometimes other people would do an impression that you knew you could do better, but you just kept quiet, But, Gorshin was great at doing Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster and Richard Widmark and Cagney and people like that. And,
straight ahead. Hang on here, Rich. We got a quick break here. Be back with more on the Manettis. Rich Little, our guest with Nancy and Larry Manetti on CRN. We'll be back.